Recap of Season 8 Episode 2 of Outlander, Prophecies Outlanders, spoiler, dies in brutal Episode 2 attack. A lot of women would pick the bear. Amy Lindsay, a recently married Outlander character, is not one of them. In this week's episode, when a ravenous bear breaks into a Frasers Ridge foraging party and turns Amy's face into mincemeat, poor Amy gets a good night's sleep. Thank heavens, then, for the happy event that occurs in the middle of the episode, welcome to the world, Ian and Rachel's kid. It's a terrible death that casts a shadow over the Frasers. Even nevertheless, Jamie's impending death continues to haunt him, thanks, Frank, and it's interfering with Fraser in a way that has never been witnessed before. Is it any wonder that Big Red is having a week when you consider whether Jamie has lost influence over rival groups on the Ridge? In the meantime, William solves a mystery regarding Ben, his beloved cousin who passed away. Well, at least he has something to do except throw up in ornamental ceramics and scream at single mothers. Continue reading for the highlights of Prophecies, which was helmed by executive producer and series actress Kate Nona Balfe. Please be patient with me. Claire and Jamie are getting used to life on the Ridge as the hour begins. During a discussion about physiological functions that turns into a recollection of Fanny's time spent in the brothel, Claire gently informs the girl that while she is free to discuss anything with her close family, she should exercise caution while discussing her time spent in the love shack with others. Claire responds, "We wouldn't want anyone to make assumptions about you," but she reassures Fanny that she is free to discuss Jane at any time and that the Frasers will protect her always. Roger and Jamie catch up while sawing wood outside. Roger shares all of Dougal's son Buck's time-traveling adventures with his father-in-law. Roger dismisses Jamie's praise for forgiving Buck, who, as you may recall, had him hanged, saying that Buck was only acting in accordance with his moral convictions at the time. And he's family, Rog continues. I love him for that, alone. The men discover they are all Freemasons while they converse when Captain Cunningham arrives shortly after. In another scene, Lizzie, Amy, Brianna, and Rachel are gathering berries in the forest. Amy moves away from the gathering to get away from some bugs that have begun to irritate her, just as she has done waxing romantic about her newish spouse, Evan. At that moment, a bear that had not been observed before rushes toward her. Brianna shoots at the beast with quick thinking, but it's too late. Claire shakes her head sadly, indicating that there is little chance of recovery by the time Jamie brings a bloodied Amy into the operating room. After giving Amy a quick cleaning and making her as comfortable as she can, Evan and Amy's sons, Aiden and Ori, are standing beside the bed in shock. After pleading with Claire to assist his wife, Evan comes to the conclusion that this is it. So as Amy begins to slide away, he calls quietly to her. I'll take care of the boys, he sobs as he tells her. Mr. and Mrs. Fraser watch from the surgery's corner, very moved, saying, I love you so much. Roger then offers up a prayer for Amy, before she goes, as requested by Evan. When Jamie emerges to break the terrible news that Amy has passed away, Rachel is on the porch reassuring a terrified Ian that she and the infant are all right. Surprisingly, Mrs. Cunningham is exceedingly kind and matter-of-fact when she arrives with Amy's shroud to assist clean her. While they prepare the body, she and Claire get close. Outside, a hunting party is swiftly assembled by Jamie, Evan, Bree, little Aiden, and a few others to capture evil Paddington, but Captain Cunningham arrives first and kills the beast. Marmaduke. Off the Ridge news, William is the sole member of the Grey family there, but Denny is also a guest when a cured Henry Grey marries Mercy Woodcock in a spiritual ceremony. William then informs the groom of his brother Ben's passing at Henry's insistence. My guy, nice wedding present. William then visits the prison where Ben passed away and speaks with the extremely condescending soldier in command. Later that evening, however, the child rushes to Ben's grave and excavates it because his old spider senses are tingling. Thank God, William exclaims upon seeing the face of the corpse, the man in the grave is not his cousin. Time goes by back in North Carolina. While she, Bree, and Claire are cooking, Rachel gives birth. In the pantheon of Outlander births, this one passes swiftly and effortlessly. Rachel gives birth to a boy, everything is okay, and Ian is ecstatic. However, he also wants to give the child the name Marmaduke, which is not acceptable. Fox and Wolf are two more names in the works. Eventually, though, they decide to keep referring to him as Augie, just as they did when he was still in the womb. Ian tells Jamie, "I only wish my dad could have been here to see we Augie," as they enjoy a joyful drink on the porch. Ian would have been proud, according to Jamie, and Jenny will be over the moon. In a really endearing exchange, Ian expresses gratitude to his uncle for being, like a second father to me my whole life, and Jamie quips that he is unable to provide guidance on raising small children because both of them entered his life as fully grown adults. Yes, Hellwater is in my memory. You understand what I mean. Unwelcome interference. A man interrupts the cordial conversation by riding up to the house in search of Jen. Fraser. Benjamin Cleveland, the newcomer, claims to be vehemently anti-Tory and acknowledges that he hung the British loyalists from the previous episode. He wants Jamie to become a member of his nomadic group of Brit eradicators. Fraser declares, "I turned down George Washington himself, because he doesn't want to interact with this man. What makes you think I would change my mind for you?" He then states unequivocally that he will take care of anything that requires his attention, on my land. Roger notes that one of the names in Frank's book was Cleveland when he gets to the house. He says he kens the others, too, wants me to fight with them, Jamie uneasily remarks. Roger looks at him slyly. "So then you are the James Fraser in the book," he replies. Later, Jamie and Rog go to the first Freemasons' Lodge meeting on the ridge. Cunningham is present and delivers a statement on how his son promised to see him again in 7 years before he died in combat. Cunningham is persuaded by this that, "I would not taste death until that day," which causes Roger and Jamie to raise an eyebrow at one another. After the encounter, Jamie observes that there is a distinction between believing you can't die and being called by God. While Claire sleeps that night, Jamie reads Frank's book and hears the voice of Claire's first husband mocking him about his impending death. He wakes Claire to get rid of the thought. He apologizes but is adamant, saying, "I need you," and begins kissing her. She's competitive, but before the main game starts, she has very little warm-up, which I must point out on behalf of women everywhere. Nevertheless, our girl doesn't need to get ready because she remains prepared. In any case, it ends quite swiftly. "Sorry, Jamie, sorrier, Claire, but the purpose of the interlude doesn't appear to have been met," Frank's voice reverberates in Jamie's mind as soon as he finishes. "You're going to die," he says in jest to Big Red. "Who will hold her once you're gone?" Claire and her secret granddaughter Fanny are undergoing surgery at the Ridge. Notably, this is the directorial debut of Kate Nona Balfe. Claire cautions Fanny to be cautious when discussing the brothel with anyone else on the Ridge, but she also encourages Fanny to be honest about her background with their immediate family. Roger tells Jamie what transpired with his descendant, Dougal's son Buck, when they are out in the woods. Roger might have been subtly admitting that he had forgiven Jamie for abandoning him in Season 4 when they talked about forgiveness. However, Jamie was too preoccupied with Frank's book to notice if he was. He asks his son-in-law, a historian, if he can identify any of the names of the troops he is supposed to fight with in the impending Battle of King's Mountain. Roger doesn't, and Jamie neatly omits the fact that he is meant to perish in the conflict. In addition, he questions Frank Randall's motivations for writing about him and rejects Roger's invitation to read the book. When Captain Cunningham arrives, Jamie and Roger correctly surmise that he shares their Freemason beliefs. Jamie and Roger correctly surmise that Captain Cunningham is a Freemason, just like them, when he appears. Jamie extends an invitation to the former British captain to join him in establishing a lodge on the Ridge. William is in Philadelphia for his cousin Henry's wedding to Mercy Woodcock. In order to lift the prohibition on interracial marriages, Mercy says she hopes Mr. Bryan's plan is approved by the Assembly. Governor George Bryan, who wrote the Gradual Abolition Act, is probably what she's referring about. William is traveling to New Jersey to look into Ben's death, but he is also coming to support their marriage. He informs Henry that his brother has passed away, leaving a wife and kid in Amaranthus and Trevor. Before catastrophe hits, the women of the Ridge are enjoying some leisurely blueberry picking. And you knew this was coming if you read Diana Gabaldon's 8th Outlander novel, Go Tell the Bees That I Am Gone. A bear attacks Amy McCallum just after she talks about how happy she is to have found love on the ridge. Amy is hurried to Claire's surgery, but it's already too late. She is unsavable by Claire. Ori and Aidan, her boys, and her husband Evan arrive in time to bid her farewell. In addition to the fact that your friend being mauled by a bear is a quite harsh return to 18th century existence, Brianna suffers with the fact that she did not assist. She sets off to find the bear, but Jamie informs Aidan that he may claim the kill in order to get revenge on his mother. However, Captain Cunningham beats them to it. After killing the bear by himself, the British captain confidently responds, "There was no danger of that, I assure you," to young Aidan's wonder that he could have perished. Mrs. Cunningham, the captain's mother, also shows a great deal of courage when she goes back to the ridge to assist Claire with Amy's body. The all-business, child-slapping Elspeth displays a gentler side to Claire, asking her to repair Amy's face as much as she can so that her loved ones can see it again during her wake. Claire is a little taken aback. William isn't learning much about Ben's passing in New Jersey, except from the fact that he passed away from jail fever. Ben was much better before he supposedly passed away, according to the army surgeon's assistant, whom he encounters. Suspicious, huh? William retrieves Benjamin's possessions, which noticeably do not include his toy soldier, after seeing his sorrowfully marked grave. Claire's medical responsibilities at the ridge are neglected while Rachel gives birth. Ian and Rachel welcome a healthy son who they will call Augie for the time being. Uncle Jamie tells young Ian that he is jealous because Ian will have the opportunity to raise his son, something Jamie was never able to do with any of his children, and that Ian will be a wonderful father. One of the guys described in Frank's book, Benjamin Cleveland, is a portent of Jamie's impending death, so he doesn't have much time to be sentimental. Cleveland gleefully acknowledges that he is in charge of hanging the loyalist pigs that Jamie and Brianna discovered in the woods and asks Jamie to join his rebel force. He's quite vile, and it's obvious Jamie is worried about what might happen that might lead him to ally with him. Later on, Claire says that Jamie won't die in that fight, but she does question why Frank had previously gone looking for Jamie without telling her. "Maybe he wasn't looking for me, Claire," Jamie says. "Perhaps he was looking for you to see if you would leave him." Additionally, Cleveland had volunteered to assist Jamie in removing Captain Cunningham of Tory from his property. Even though Jamie declined Cleveland's offer, Cunningham increased Jamie's mistrust of him during the Freemasons' initial meeting. Cunningham describes how his son Simon, who was killed in the Battle of Saratoga 2 years ago, resurrected to say, "I'll see you again in 7 years." Cunningham's boldness in defeating the bear on his own is explained by his genuine belief that he won't pass away till then. His claim of invincibility worries Jamie. Speaking of eluding death, William chooses to unearth his cousin's tomb in order to confirm that he is indeed dead since he is dissatisfied with what he has discovered about Benjamin. Additionally, he finds that Ben's burial contains another man. Is Ben truly dead? If not, what on earth is Amaranthus? As Jamie continues to suffer over soul of a rebel, his own death looms looming. In his mind, he hears Frank berating him about the day of his demise. Frank's voice continues to declare, "You're going to die, even after having loved to Claire. When you're gone, who will hold her?" Oh my, Jamie is usually treated so cruelly by those Randalls. In Prophecies, there are many unanswered questions regarding who has died, who will die, and when, but only one person, poor Amy, actually passed away. Jamie will have to put the puzzle pieces Frank left him together in the interim to determine if he has time to alter his destiny.